Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Carolyn. I am a mama to twin baby girls named Summer and Winter. And as a twin mom, I have learned a lot about twins. And there's a huge learning curve, honestly. There are so many fun facts to learn along the way. And just in case anybody is curious, I'm gonna answer a lot of the commonly asked questions that I get asked on a regular basis, whether it be in person when I'm out with my twins, or whether it be online here on YouTube or on TikTok or Instagram, anything like that. So here we go. Here are 5 fun facts that you probably didn't know about twins. And just a little disclaimer, I am not a doctor. I am just sharing a lot of things that I have learned as a well-informed mother of twins. So let's get right to it. And if you learned something new, definitely give this video a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe below if you want to see more of my twin mama life as well as family travel. Thanks for watching. So one of the most commonly asked questions I get about my twins is, are they identical or fraternal? And the answer is they are identical, but we actually didn't know this from the beginning. The whole time that I was pregnant, our doctors actually told us that they were going to be fraternal twins. And this is because when they formed in my tummy, they looked like they were 2 separate eggs. And here's the difference between the fraternal and identical twins, in case anybody didn't know. Fraternal twins are 2 eggs that drop and then both get fertilized and both become babies. In other words, you're literally just having 2 babies at the same time, and they form completely separately. They form their own sacs inside their own placenta, so they are totally separate. Whereas identical twins actually start with 1 egg and then they split into 2, becoming 2 babies. But the thing is, there's actually 2 different types of identical twins. Yes, I know what you're thinking. What? There's more than just identical and fraternal? I always thought there were only 2 types of twins, but there's actually 3 types of twins, guys. Well, there's really more than that, but of the general types of twins that I'm going to talk about, there's 3. So the kind that I had inside my tummy appeared to be fraternal because my twins actually started out as 1 egg and then they split really early on, giving them enough time to actually form their own sac and placenta, looking like a fraternal twin pregnancy. Isn't that really interesting? So basically, my twins did that. They split so early that it had to have been probably within the first 48 or 72 hours of within being conceived that they actually turned into what we call a di-di pregnancy, which just means 2 and 2. So there's 2 sacs and 2 placentas. That's what di-di twins are. So if you ever hear of that, then that's really what it is. Although there's a more technical name for the di-di twins, it is dichorionic. Dichorionic. I can't even pronounce this. Dichorionic diamniotic. It's so hard to say, guys. Okay, yeah, so that's what di-di means. That's not easy to pronounce. I get why they call it di-di. So usually those di-di twins are fraternal, but there actually is a chance that they can be identical. From everything that I've read and what I understand is from those di-di twins that most doctors assume are fraternal, about 30% of the same-sex ones are actually identical. So it is rare, but not that rare. You know what I mean? Okay, so the next 2 types of twins are actually both identical. So there's mo-di and there's mo-mo. And the difference between these is just that there's actually basically 2 other ways that the babies can be formed. So the first one was di-di, which means 2 and 2, separate placentas and separate sacs. But then mo-di is when an egg splits and they only have enough time to form their own sac. So they're 2 separate sacs, but they share 1 placenta. And then the third kind is actually mo-mo, which is basically where they share both. So there's single. There's only 1 amniotic sac inside the placenta. Does that make sense? So they share everything. And those are the ones that are the most risky pregnancies, just simply because there is a chance of them taking up the other's nutrients. You know, one is taking up a little bit more space than the other inside of both of the things that they're sharing. There's a chance that they could be conjoined. I mean, that's like the really intense cases that are obviously very, very rare. But that's my understanding of really the three different types of ways that twins are formed. So when people ask me, are they identical or fraternal? I try not to give them the long story, but basically the answer is they are identical. And if you want to know more about how they're formed, they were identical. Another thing that you may or may not have known about twins is that identical twins are always the same sex, and fraternal twins can be the same sex, or they can be two different, a boy and a girl, or a girl and a boy, you know. I honestly did not know that before I had twins. And so I don't know, maybe that's just a fact that everybody should know, but I've had other twin moms tell me that they think people are so silly when they ask them if they're fraternal or identical, and they're like, boy and a girl. And I'm like, well, you know, cut them some slack, because I didn't know that before I became a twin mom. So anyway, random fact, now you know. Another fact that I think is a little bit wild, but maybe encouraging to anybody who wants to have twins, is that since the year 1980, the birth rate for twins has actually increased by 76%. What? At least according to the CDC. How crazy is that? I mean, 76% since 1980? That's not that long ago, and that is a lot of percentage to grow as far as just chances of twins being born. I don't really know why, but that's just a random fact that I find really interesting. Additionally, if you've had twins, your chances of having twins a second time goes up if you've had fraternal twins. Because here's another fun fact. Woo, fun fact, I think number 4 now. Fraternal twins run in families, and identical twins are actually a completely random occurrence. What? So when I thought that I was having fraternal twins during my pregnancy, it actually made complete sense, because they actually do run in my family. Fraternal twins were born to my grandmother, and then my parents didn't have any twins, but then I had twins. So it was in the family, but it also skipped a generation. And a lot of people think that it skips a generation because they just see it commonly happen. But here's the actual theory as to why people think that twins skip a generation. It's not because they actually skip a generation. It's more likely because twins actually run in the maternal side. So being that if you are a mother and they run in your side of the family, not your husband's, then you're the one who would carry the gene. If the husband has the gene, it does not increase his chances of having twins. It only increases it for the maternal side. So let's say that a guy has that gene in his family. If he has a daughter, then she would get the gene, but he didn't get the gene. And if he has a son, his son won't have twins, at least not because of that. But his daughter could. Does that make sense? So it only goes to the female. So because it runs in my family, that's why I had the chance of having the actual fraternal twin gene. But with that said, it skipped a generation because it was my dad and his mom who I got it from. So does that make sense? That's why I'm not a twin, and that's why my parents didn't have twins, because my mom didn't have that gene, but I got it from my dad. So that's why it skipped a generation. I hope I'm making sense. But the thing is that a lot of people just don't know that. So now you know. The chances of having fraternal twins are much higher if you have fraternal twins on the maternal side in your family, somewhere in your family. Now, identical twins, like I said, that is the thing that wows me the most, is that we actually were capable of even having identical twins, because the chances of that are really like crazy. And then in addition, having identical twins in the way that we had them, in like the most rare case scenario of them being born in the pregnancy form, is just really interesting. And so that's what actually blows my mind, is thinking that what if I had had fraternal twins because they run in my family, and then seeing that I could have had one split. That's how like triplets happen. I mean, can you imagine that I could have had triplets? Like, I have seen that happen actually, where a mother has had fraternal twins and then one of the fraternal twins splits into 2 identical twins. And that's how sometimes people actually who have triplets or more say that, oh, well, these 2 are fraternal and these 2 are identical. And it's like, what? that's how it happens. Now you know. So anyway, that didn't happen, but we're well aware of the chances of us having twins again. So we're just being cautious. And the last random fact that I'm going to say about twins is just that they can be completely different from each other. And this is really interesting because, like I said, my twins are identical and we are learning more and more that they have very different personalities. But you know, it's really cool to see them just like develop and grow and see what they like and see what they're into. And you know, honestly, even identical twins can look really different. My identical twins do look somewhat different. At least to me, they look really different, and same to my husband. But to people who don't know them very well, they think they look the same. So that's just another thing that we found really interesting, is that whether it's fraternal twins, identical twins, same sex or different sex, you know, they can look totally different. They can act totally different, or vice versa. They could act the same and look the same. I mean, it's all over the board. It's basically just two siblings. They are completely different individual babies, and it's really cool to see them develop. And I just hope that my babies turn out to be the best of friends throughout life. I mean, that's really my greatest hope as a mother. And any other kids that, if we have more kids, you know, I just hope that they all stay close and have that special bond that they would share as siblings, and again, especially as twins. So anyways, guys, I hope that I didn't bore you too much with all these crazy facts about twins and all the science-y stuff behind it. You know, just like I said, I find it really interesting as a mom to twins, and just thought that maybe you guys might find it interesting too. And hey, at least I hope you learned something. If you did, like I said, give me a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe if you want to see more twin mama life and family travel. Thanks, guys. I'll see you next time. Have a great day. Bye.